Hello everyone, this is Judge here, and today we have a different kind of guide. We're going to talk about ability skills. So if you don't know what it is, well then you're pretty new because it's right here. It's one of the first things that you get in the game, and you start with Titan Lance, right? Which is Luffy's basically punch, right? Like this normal punch. But yeah, people know about this already. People generally do it well and they know what to do, but a lot of people still ask like which one they should use, which one is the best one to use, etc. So I thought it would be nice to have this well guide, just to let you guys know well what I think and what maths think about the best ones to use. Right? When I say maths, I meant that I actually spent quite some time on Excel and gathering data about this, and well, quite some time, some hours actually, and I tested everything. Basically, I tested all of them at different levels. And just a disclaimer here, I tested them at level 900 on strong trial, so the last level. And that changes things a little bit, right? Because your damage may be different from the one I'm about to show you, because it was different for me. I believe my trial level is what, 700 and something. Well, I don't have the meta team, so yeah, 791. My damage was different, even with the skill ability at the same level. The ability skill, sorry, at the same level. It was the damage was different than the one I did on the other account at 900, at level 900. So just take this damage with a grain of salt. But at the same time, they were all tested on the same opponent, on the same level. So the differences don't. Well, they should be right, right? The difference should be right. Just the damage might be different from your damage, the overall damage. Okay, just so you guys know how I collected this data. And well, I'm gonna explain it a little bit more now. Just showing this. Yes, here we go. So basically, what happened is I collected data at level 100, so the ability skill at level 100, at level 150, at level 200, and at level 250. Alright, I didn't do at 300 because, well, you guys will see why. And the other reason was because the account I used couldn't get to 200, so, well, but still, it's okay. It's okay because it's enough. If you know up to here, I believe it's enough for you to make a judgment call. Okay. So as you can see here, I have a lot of numbers, and you guys probably don't like we have no idea what I'm talking about here. But I'll explain one by one. Okay, so let's. They are already in order. Okay, so I already put them in order of the highest damage to the lowest damage. But let's go one by one. So first of all, what does it mean description? Right, description means this is the number that it shows. Let me go back to the game. Right, so yeah, so this is the number that shows here. Okay, so whatever it says here, and then this one, and then the percentage and everything, yeah, that's what I put there. Okay, so that's the description one, what is supposed, the damage that is supposed to do. And the bold one is the one that it actually does in battle, right? At least at strong battle, strong trial level 900. That's the damage that it does. And well, it was this was tested multiple times and at different HP levels. Okay, so basically, guys, all those skills that say, let me show you guys an example here. So the skills that say when the enemy's HP is lower than 45%, apply this. Okay, this is false. Okay, this doesn't work. Alright, it doesn't work at all. Even if the enemy has 100% HP or 20% HP, it does the same amount of damage, and that's for all of them. Okay, so all of them that have that text, I think Sabo also has this text. Yes, when enemy's HP is lower, blah. However, I do believe that some kind of HP percentage damage is being applied here. Why? Because Sabo, for example, right, it has this percentage of target's HP, right? This one. Uh, this this is somehow working. I'm not sure what percentage. If it's everything, if it doesn't apply the first number, apply the second number. I'm not sure. And to be honest, it really doesn't matter because this will not get changed anytime soon. So let's just accept how it is, okay? But there must be some kind of HP well, number being affected, because otherwise the damage wouldn't be different at different levels of strong trial, right? The damage would be the same everywhere. So since like the opponents in the other level might have higher HP, then it did more damage there. So I believe some kind of HP damage is done, at least for Sabo, maybe others, maybe all of them. Um, but what can be sure, what I can tell you guys 100% sure is that all the conditionals that say if the enemy or when the enemy's HP is lower or higher, or whatever, those things they don't work. So just ignore them, right? So going back there. Mm, all right. So this is the damage that it actually does, okay? So here you guys can see the difference, right? And actually I put the difference here. So this is the difference. This is the percentage of the damage that it's supposed to do. So for example, Titan Lance is 29%. So here, 42,000 is 29% of 145,000. So it's only doing 29% of the damage that it's supposed to do, according to the description. I mean, there's nothing that we can do about that. I just put it here so you guys have an idea, and you can see that it's pretty consistent, right? Sometimes it changes a little bit in the first one. See, this one is different in the first one. This is the same, right? This one changes, but it's not much. It's all basically the same all throughout all the levels, right? It's the same percentage amount that's doing. As you can see, some of them, especially the bleed ones, so water penetration and bird cage, they do a lot more damage of what it's supposed to do, right? But in general, the AoE ones, so these are all the AoE ones as well, they do more damage than the single target. Single target are all these ones in blue, right? The blue ones are single target. So these do generally uh, less damage than what's supposed to do, right? Only 29%, whereas the others they do 40%, 60%, etc. of the description damage. This doesn't really matter too much, but just so you guys know the difference in the numbers that we see and the numbers that we get, right? Now let's focus on the bold ones, okay? The bold numbers for now. As you guys can see, just in terms of raw damage, Birdcage, which is Dofi's ability, Doflamingo's ability, it does more damage than all the rest of them. Yeah, and what may be surprising to you guys is actually how much damage Jinbe's ability does. So water penetration is Jinbe's ability, so it does more damage than all the other all the other ones. Even though it's a very basic ability and you can get it very early game, it's not as strong as Dofi's, but it's quite up there. I mean, at 250, he only does what 1,600,000 more damage or something like that. Which I mean, out of 10 million, it's not that much, right? It's less than 10%. It's around 10% more damage that Dofi does. So it's not too bad. I mean, Jamie's ability is really good, and if you want to just do like raw damage, like you don't care about the skills, just damage, then you probably would run Jinbe, Doflamingo, and Sabo. Those are the ones that do more damage than everything else. Okay, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so of course I'm going to make this Excel sheet available to you guys, so you guys can study and look at it more. You can edit it and do whatever you want with it. So I'm gonna add the link to it, of course. But I'm just gonna explain the rest. Okay, so what is this stuff here at the bottom? Okay, so DIM and SV. So DIM and SV are basically the things that you need to level up your ability skill. DIM is the blue one that you need every 10 levels, and SV is the yellow one, right? I forgot what they stand for, to be honest, and it doesn't really matter. But just so you know, it's the yellow thing that you need to level up, and the yellow thing is the problem. The blue thing everybody has enough, but the yellow thing is the real issue, right? So I put that in bold just so you guys know, right? So this is how much you need to get to level 100, 150, 200, 250, right? How much you need, and this is relevant because it may help you mix and choose your skills, right? I want this skill at level 200, this one at level 250. Yeah, so depending on how much you have, you can have an idea. And if you want to know the cost for everything in more detail, just go to the other spreadsheet that we have in our Discord server, right? You just ask for the spreadsheet, and or you look at our FAQ. It's there as well, the link for it. Right? It has lots of information about that. Anyway, so let's continue. I also put the healing numbers here because this is Ace's ability. It's the only one that heals. So this is actually different. This is not description and actual healing. This is just the healing per character, and this one is the healing, like total healing of or the whole team, 5 characters, right? Per character, 5 characters, right? Of course, this is the total, like the maximum amount that he can heal, but it doesn't mean that it's going to heal that every single time, of course, because your characters may not need the healing, or maybe you have one character that's already dead or something like that. So this is just the potential, right? And the same goes for the healing, sorry, the damage of AoE abilities, right? So AoE abilities, they hit the whole team, all the 5 characters. But if one character is dead or 2 are dead, then obviously it's not going to do this damage, right? Different from the single target one, because the single target is always going to be the same amount, because he only hits one character, and whoever is alive is going to take this hit, right? Uh, Speaking of single target skills, let's talk about them, right? Because I think they're a little bit overlooked. Remember, Birdcage is doing this damage, but it's doing it to 5 characters. And if you divide this by 5, let's just do it. We could just do it quickly here, right? And we just undo it afterwards. But if you were to, damn, I can't type. If you were to divide it by 5, you you be 2,000, right? Sorry, 2 million. 2 million damage and about 300,000, and that is much lower than all the others, right? So not much than all the others, but it's much lower than the best one, which is Titan Lance. So actually, if you just want to kill one guy, if you want like attack a boss or something like that, you just want to focus on one enemy, then Titan Lance is actually the best and does the most damage to yeah, to a single target, right? Is the first ability that we get and is the best one to kill tanks. So if you're early game as well or middle game and you're struggling with the story mode or Shichibukai, not Shichibukai, sorry, with story mode or stuff like that, or strong trial, and you need to kill this one guy which is really strong, then you could just level up Titan Lance, spend 50 gems or 100 gems, I guess, and just do it, and then kill the boss, and then change it back to whatever you want, to Birdcage or Water Penetration. All right, okay. So let's just undo that. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty good, right? I do have a few other things to mention. So let me just change to. I was speaking about things that don't work, right? So there are things that don't work, which is the HP conditionals that I mentioned before, right? Other things that don't work. Uh, Whitebeard. Okay, so land collapse. I tested this a lot. I looked at one time speed, so very slowly. I looked at it. I tested it at different situations, strong trial, arena, and I tried many times with different teams, and I confirmed that at least it looks like it. Okay, I'm not gonna give 100% sure, but I'm 95% sure that the bleeding effect does not work. Nothing regarding the bleeding effect, right? It doesn't add a layer. Okay, so the layer doesn't get added, and also it doesn't reset anything. Okay, it doesn't reset the remaining turns and doesn't add one more layer. So that's pretty useless, right? Because if you go back and you look at the Excel, where is land collapse, right? Land collapse is here. So if it's not doing anything else, then it's just the damage, and the damage is worse than all the other 4 damage ones. Because I mean, Aces is not really damage, right? Because you have the healing, so it's the worst AOE damage skill, and it doesn't even work, right? The special effect, so it's pretty much useless, right? It's the same damage as Buddha Impact, and everybody knows how good Buddha Impact is. Yeah, it's literally the best ability in the game, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. Right, so I would not recommend using Land Collapse at all. I also have a chart table here. So if you guys, those guys that like the visual representation more, right? If you just want to see it like this, and you see the differences, it's quite nice, right? Um, so these are all the different levels, but that's just for show, just for you guys to see that. Okay. Well, the second most important thing we have to look at is not only the cost here, but it's the damage per cost, right? So each point of damage, how much does it cost, right? So, or the other way around, right? How many points of damage per one of these, right? Let me just look at the name. Like what's the name of that thing? Damn. Shandora Vibe. Yeah, there you go. It's the Shandora Vibe. Shandora, I don't know. Shandora Vibe. So how much damage do you get for each Shandora vibe that you invest, right, in the ability? So basically, what I found out, it's not here, it's not really here, but I did test 210, 220, 230, right, just to see, right? I started at 230, then I went down, and basically 200. I didn't test 202, 3, 4, 5, but 200 is basically the peak, right? So this is the best value in the game for all the abilities. So the Shadora vibes, they're the most efficient here, right? You get the most damage per each Shadora vibe that you invest, right? So basically, it's much better to have two abilities at 200 than one ability at 250. That's the idea. But of course, only if we're talking about damage, right? If we're talking about damage, that's good, right? For example, let's say you have the Flamingo at 250, right? So that is, you're doing 11 million damage, but that costs you 121k Shundora vibes. Okay, and then what if you have both Water Penetration and Dragon Breath at... Okay, so sorry, let's go back. So if you have Birdcage at 250, then you have all the other abilities at level 1. Okay, maybe you have Ace, Buddha, whatever. But yeah, we're only talking about damage here. Right? So it's more complex than this, but let's keep going. But if you have two abilities at level 200, it only costs you what 72, 74, 75k, right? Not 121. Only costs you 75k, right? And you did how much damage? You did almost 9 million damage. So only 2 million less, right? But you still have lots, right? You still have lots of Shandora vibes left. So you could even level up another one, and you'll be doing a lot more damage as well. Of course, that this doesn't really make sense because you think, oh, okay, but what's the point, right? You're doing more damage here, even though you're spending more. But think about it. You could level up Ace as well, right? So if you're spending here too, you spend 75k, right? So you still have what 50k, almost 50k Shandora vibes left. So that means you can level up another ability to level 200. So you could level up Ace to level 200. It's not a lot of damage, right? But it's almost, if you add all of them, right? It's the same damage, almost the same damage as Birdcage, and you get the healing as well, which is really good, right? The healing, it doesn't look like much, but it could save you, right? Sometimes just your Carta survives with a little bit of HP, right? And this healing could really come in handy. So you could do that, or you could just level up Buddha Impact instead. So instead of having Birdcage at level 250, you have these three at level 200, and you're doing more damage than Birdcage. Look, you're doing what 8-6, and then 11, 12, 4, right? So 2 million or 12 million and 400k instead of 11 million and 400k. So you're doing 1 more million damage, right, than having this. So instead of having Birdcage at 250 and level 1 on the other abilities, you do all of these at 200. And not only that, but you also have Shandora vibes left, so you could just keep leveling them up. Yeah, you just put level 201, 201, 201, 202, 202, 202, and just keep leveling them up, right? Because this is the peak, right? So if this is the peak, then you want everyone to be as close to 200 as possible, right? You don't want them to go in too far out. Like you don't want one ability to go to 250 and the others being at 100. Like that's not efficient. So the most efficient use of the Shandora vibes are to get everybody to 200 and then just keep them close together, right? Just keep them like to 200, because if you get this to 202, right? Let's say you get water penetration to 201, and then 202, and then 203, and you keep everybody else at 200, then you're not being efficient, because the damage that you got from 202 to 203 would not be as much damage as you got from 200 to 201 here. At least not per Shandora vibe. The damage per Shandora vibe, that's what I'm talking about, right? The efficiency per Shandora vibes. Right? So if you don't understand all of that, I know it's quite complicated. Basically, what I suggest is just to get everything to 200, the three that you want to use, and then from there you just go one by one, one each, right? 201, 201, 201, 202, 202, 202, right? And just keep going. Am I saying that you should use Birdcage, Water Penetration, and Dragon Breath? No. I mean, that's not efficient unless you want to do like a strong trial, right? You want to pass strong trial and you just need a little bit more damage, and it doesn't really matter if you have Entei or I don't know, Buddha or something like that, right? You just want damage. Then yes, I would say just level these up and make sure they're as close as possible to each other after level 200. Okay. And oh, I'm new, so if I'm new, I don't have enough Shandora vibes to get everything to 200. What do I do, right? Then of course you focus on getting just your highest damage one to level 200. So either Dofi or Jinbei or I don't know, maybe Sabo. Okay, which one you get first, right? So you're probably going to get Jinbei first, right? So just make sure to get that to 200. And when you get Dofi, just pay 50 gems and get Dofi to 200 instead. Okay, at least that's my advice. That's what I think you guys should do. All right, now let's talk about not damage, right? Okay, so damage is not everything. You have some abilities that are really good because of their skills. Like I mentioned before, Land Collapse is useless because the skill is not working. If it did work, this skill here, you'll be really good in bleed teams, right? But it's not the case, so let's forget about it. Let's talk about which abilities I think you guys should have in your teams. So I believe Ace is a must-have ability because of the hit, right? So let's go back to the game. So here, what happens? So reduces enemy hit rate by 50%. So they have 50% chance of missing their attacks, and this can be huge, right? If they miss, that's 0 damage they're doing to you. So it's pretty great, right? Another ability that it's worth having, even if at level 1, is Great Monkey King Gun, right? So it's Luffy's gear 4th. So this one, it gives you hit rate, right? So it increases hit rate of all friendly units by 100%. So you're guaranteed to hit the opponent. So no misses, no dodges. And this can be really crucial as well for 3 turns, right? It's pretty good, especially against those uh, tanks that like dodging stuff. And then also you don't like to miss your attacks. Like Prime Whitebeard, for example, when he misses his ultimate, it really sucks. So if you don't want to miss, make sure that you use, even at level 1, it's fine. Right? Same thing for Ace. If you don't want his healing, you just want the hit rate, then just use it at level 1 and it's completely fine. Okay? And what else? We also have Meteor Volcano, which is a Kainu's skill ability, right? And it attaches Shield Break, which does work, right? And also it increases skill damage to all units by 10%, which is pretty nice. I mean, to all units, right? And the Shield Break effect also increases the damage in general. So if you're focusing on increasing your damage, it's also interesting to have Meteor Volcano, right? And of course, the best ability in the game is Buddha Impact, right? Why is this the best ability? Because you're reducing 60 points of energy, right? So imagine that the opponent has full energy, right? 100 energy, and then you reduce by 60 points, right? So they go to 40. So even if they attack, they will only go back to 90. So they won't be able to ultimate next turn as well. Not this turn and not next turn unless they get hit by you, of course. If they get hit by you, then they'll get some points and they'll be able to ultimate. But if they don't get hit by you, they won't be able to ultimate for 2 turns after doing this. It's really good and definitely what you should be using. Right, if you have it, of course, if you have GOP, so if you're VIP 12 or plus, then you should definitely use Buddha Impact. I don't have him, of course, but it would be really nice, really nice, because this is in PvP is definitely what you want to have at all times. It should definitely be your first ability that you should be using and stuff like that. Okay, let's just go back here. But yeah, as I mentioned before, this is the cost per Shandora vibes. So basically, you're doing 141 damage per Shandora vibe at Birdcage level 200. Okay, just so you guys understand what this means. And as you can see, it goes up, right? So it's not very efficient at low levels. Then it peaks here at 200, and then it goes down. So the like it just keeps going down. I've tested it. Right? It's not here, but I did test until 270, and it just kept going down. And I imagine at 300 it's going to be even worse, right? Much worse. So it's not worth to just keep leveling one ability past 200 like indefinitely. Unless it's Ace and you just want the healing, like, oh, I want more healing, I need more healing for some reason, then yeah, sure, why not? But I don't think that that's something that you should be doing. Anyway, so final thoughts, my opinion on what should be your 3 abilities. So in my opinion, if you're not only thinking about damage, right? So like I said before, these are your top 3 for damage. But if you're not only thinking about damage, then you should definitely look at the skills. And for the skills, you have 4 options. You have Buddha Impact, the ones I just mentioned, right? You have Buddha Impact, Grand Inferno Entei, Meteor Volcano, and Great Monkey King Gun. So those are 4 options, basically. And basically, guys, it's up to you. Right? The 4 are up to you. But honestly, I would only choose between Meteor Volcano and Great Monkey King Gun. So if you have all the abilities, definitely go for Buddha Impact, in my opinion, right? And then Ace, Grand Inferno Entei. I think the hit reduction is really good and should definitely these 2 should definitely be your must-have abilities, right? And then you can choose between Meteor Volcano or Great Monkey King Gun, but honestly, I would probably go for Meteor Volcano because the increased damage is probably better than the hit increase, unless you're missing a lot, right? So if you're in the battle, in PvP, arena, whatever, and you see that you're missing a lot, then it may be better to use Great Monkey King Gun instead. And not only that, let me just explain this a bit more, right? So how would you do this? A lot of people, they just level up Buddha Impact and use Ace at level 1 and Meteor Volcano at level 1 or Great Monkey King at level 1, right? But like I said before, this is not efficient. Your Shandora vibes are not being used efficiently if you do it like that. So what can we do? Instead of leveling up your Buddha Impact to 250, bear in mind, doing this in this setup is not going to do as much damage in AoE, but overall it's much more efficient, right? So let's say you level up your Buddha Impact to 200 and your Ace, your Entei to level 200, and your Meteor Volcano to level 200 as well, right? So let's do some quick maths here. 37,550 times 3, so yeah, this one, right, times 3 is going to be 100,200. Sorry, 112,650. So it's 9k less, and 9,000 less than here, right, than the 250. But you're also doing less damage, of course, because the Buddha is the 4th best one actually. So it's doing 8,000 damage. Sorry, 8,300,000 damage. So that's a lot of damage. And here you're only doing almost 4 million, 3,800,000, right? It's not so bad, right? I mean, Aces is not focused on damage because you have the healing as well. So it's not doing a lot of damage because you have the heal. So we can't only think about the damage here. Yes, it's less damage overall. So we have Ace and the Buddha Impact. So we have a total of what, 5 million? Yeah, 5,400,000 instead of 8,300,000. So that's almost 3 million less. But remember that this is doing damage to all 5 characters. This is the total damage. So it's not really 8 million. It's like almost 2 million, like 1 million something for each character. Right, and here it's just going to be 1 million per character, right? But not only this, guys, remember that you also have the 3rd skill ability. So a 3rd skill ability, let's say, is Meteor Volcano, like I mentioned before. This is a single target. And remember that even the best one, even the best AoE ability skill for damage, is doing less damage than the single target ones. Yes, per character, of course. Birdcage does less damage per unit, per enemy, than the single target ones. So you have Meteor Volcano at 200 is going to do more damage, like per enemy, right? So on the enemy that attacks is going to do much more damage than Buddha or Ace's ability, Entei, right? So that's 5,600,000, 400, whatever, and then you have another 1,300,000 to the enemy, the current enemy. It can be the tank or the second tank or whatever it is. So that is quite a lot of damage because now you're doing, well, of course, in total, basically, you're doing what, 7 million damage, right? So instead of doing 8 million, you're doing 7 million. But it's more focused, right? So a lot of the damage is going to, sorry, this one. a lot of the damage is going to one card, which can be really good because you just kill the card faster, and you have the healing, right? And not only that, but you're like you have more Shadora vibes to use. You're not even maxed out. You can level them up more. So you can level your Budding Patch one more level, and then Entei a little one more level, and then your Meteor Volcano one more level, and then just keep going until of course you run out. But you have 9k more to use, so maybe you can get a few more levels in and do even more damage. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's not very efficient to get it to 250 and leave the others at level 1. Mainly because of the healing and because of the more focused damage of Meteor Volcano or King Gun, right? Of course, this one's a little bit better. But that's basically it. Um, just to wrap up, I do believe the best team like right now is, if you're VIP 12, is Buddha Impact and Entei and Meteor Volcano. But of course, if you're not VIP 12, then you don't have Buddha Impact and you don't have Meteor Volcano. So I would say your best team at that moment is Entei still, of course, since you can get that as VIP 0 if you want. So Entei, Birdcage, because at this point you only have 2 skills with abilities, which is Great Monkey Gun and Entei, right? So you get these 2, and well, if you don't have any other skills, then you might as well just go for the highest damage, right? You want to do more damage, so you do Birdcage. So there you go, Birdcage, Ace, and King Gun, right? So I do believe these 3 for those under VIP 12 would be your best bets, because you get the ability, the skill, the hit skill from King Gun, and you do also some focus damage. You get the healing from Entei, right? And you get the damage from Birdcage. So just level this 3 to 200, just level them up together, basically, one by one and together. But do get to 200 first, right? Make sure that you get Birdcage to 200 first, or Entei to 200 first, and then after you get all the 3 to 200, that's when you go one by one. Right? This is all my opinion based on the data that I found, and you guys feel free to test and to do whatever you want or do something different. But I just thought that I would share all the data that I found and what I think, in my opinion, is the best course of action for skill abilities. Right? So I hope that was helpful to you guys. You can always leave a comment here or reach out on Discord as well. And feel free to also check out the links in the description for the OPIG tools that we have to help you guys. And also you can buy me a coffee if you want, or a slice of pizza. Just check out the link in the description. But yeah, I'll see you guys around. Thank you. Bye bye.